How are we there, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Smashing Crossbar Podcast. I'm your host, Josh, once again, joined by co-host Ben. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, mate. It's been a relatively good week in football. We'll take it.
It has been, mate. It has been. Plenty of going on around the world, obviously here in Australia, obviously all in the UK, everything else. Before we go any further, thanks to everyone for jumping in. Thanks to our major sponsor, Gabriel Mar, optometrist at Jesmond. Be sure to go check out those guys. Thanks to Luke for whacking that in there. Before we go any further introducing the special guest, I have put on a timer for Ben. 30 minutes. 30 minutes, guys. We're going to make sure someone has a look at the timer starting now. And I want you to jot down if he mentions or utters the word Birmingham City. So, he's very excited. He got a win. Riley McGree scored, and obviously our special guest is currently residing in Birmingham, commuting to Derby, so I'm sure he's got plenty to talk about his time. There it is. 29 minutes and 57 seconds to go. So, if you guys have any questions, be sure to get them in. Muchly appreciated. We will introduce our special guest all the way from the UK, Nathan Plaskett. How are you, mate?
Good, lads. How are you?
Very good, mate. Very good.
Very good.
Very good. How's the UK going? I suppose before we get into any football and everything else, we may as well talk COVID. Let's be honest, it's a hot topic. How different has it been over there compared to what we've had it over here? How are you finding it?
I mean, in terms of COVID, it seems to have been a fair bit worse. Just in the, I mean, I'm not going to make too much of a comment on the government actions, but in terms of the volume of cases and the amount of fatalities we've had as a result of it, I think just looking at the different stats, I think it's been a fair bit worse over here. England's a relatively small country in comparison to the population. I think it's 65 million people in a space less than the size of New South Wales. So it's, kind of like sardines. So I think that's kind of amplified a little bit. Yes, we are about to go into a second lockdown, a little bit less severe than the first one, I believe. But another lockdown nonetheless. So hopefully coming out of it soon.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate, absolutely. It's obviously we've got a few friends over there in the UK who have said they've been doing it a little bit tough. Obviously, no different to over here, I suppose. Well, in Victoria, we've only just been able to go to the pubs. These guys have shut down the pubs there currently. I believe we'll go most places. So I'm sure for all the diehard football fans,
shutting down the pubs in the UK is a massive thing.
Yeah, the economy takes a big whack there.
Way of life.
Yeah, exactly right. So it doesn't matter whether you're on a shoestring friggin' wage or a friggin' bloody good one. I think everyone still goes to the pub, no matter what you get a week in your paycheck.
Told you, Josh, he wouldn't be far away.
There he is, Garfield. There he is, all the way from Derby himself. Dad. Good day, peeps. How British. Just to come in and brighten up our podcast. Dan, mate, any questions you've got, obviously, for Nathan in regards to your club, my club. I am wearing a Derby shirt, thanks to Ben's uncle for bringing us that over. So, but we're going to talk a little bit, obviously, about Derby, a little bit about the championship, but most of all, I think the interesting thing and probably the best, or the most interesting thing I want to get out of this episode is to pretty much talk to you about strength and conditioning and rehab. That's pretty much what you do over there. And it's probably something that doesn't really get a lot of, no one really talks about it. As a fan, you just want you want your team's play to be on the pitch. They get injured.
Yeah.
It's shit. How long is that going to be? And then, you'll get the diagnosis. It'll be, you'll be back in about 6 weeks. But that's it. You just jot that down on the calendar. Date, yep, cool. That's 6 weeks. Let's see him. You don't, the fans don't exactly know what the player goes through and how much effort and stuff like that they've got to put in, and how much of a toll I'm sure it takes on you as well to make sure that these guys are getting the best training and everything else that they need to get them back as quick as possible.
Very much like timelines and what goes into one injury versus maybe another injury.
Yes.
And things like that.
Yeah, everything's different. That's it. Friggin' from a I don't know, a tweet.
And individual players as well, because every individual player is different as well.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
Of course, but we may as well start from way back in the beginning, mate. Obviously, Australian born and bred. So it's great to see. Obviously, it's great to see an Aussie doing well. Obviously, with obviously sports science and obviously that sort of scenario. And let's be honest, if you can get a chance to obviously go overseas into Europe, no matter what sport I suppose you can get into, it's massive. So I guess it all started. Where was it? I believe it was the rowing. Where was it? Performance analyst.
So it was with the Australian canoe slalom team.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
that was back in second year uni. That was.
Second year uni. Wow. So obviously, we may as well go through the education as well. So correct me if I'm wrong. It was you went through the Australian Catholic University.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And you got a master's degree in high performance sport.
Yep.
And a bachelor's degree in exercise sports science.
Yes.
Yeah. So how was that? How long did it take? What made you want to go down that road?
Well, in terms of time, my undergrad took about 3 years. I went straight into a postgrad. Initially took it on part-time in conjunction with, I think I just started with Sydney FC at that time, so I took it on part-time for that, and then obviously some other work I was doing. Ended up doing full-time and a half workload in my last semester to get it finished in full-time. So it took me about 4.5, 5 years to do that. In terms of what motivated me to do it, it was kind of like I was an all right athlete. I was good at a lot. I wasn't great that much.
Yep.
I excelled a little bit in cricket when I was younger. But I've always had like a real big passion for sport, both as a player and then obviously supporting various different codes. And then so when I got to, I guess it was like year 10, 11, I was PDHPE in school is what I found most interesting.
Yep.
And then coming into year 12, was probably my best subject. And it was kind of a no-brainer from that point. I didn't know that this career path existed, as in terms of how specific it is. But I knew that's kind of the path I wanted to go down, whether it was PE teaching or whether it was personal training or whatever it was. I knew that the human body and physical training was the area that I wanted to go down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Honestly, I don't know about the whole learning side of things, but PE was definitely one of my favourite subjects in school. Not for the writing down bit, just for the just for the sport in general.
Just play a bit of golf.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be born and raised obviously in Newcastle, so right on the beaches, so surfing for a sport and everything else. It was
that's good.
Fantastic. So
yeah,
but homework wasn't my forte, unfortunately. Matt Taylor just puts in here, I wish Nathan all the best with the UK lockdown. Thank you very much, Matt. Yeah, well done. Well said.
Thanks, man.
I hope everything goes well over there. I suppose as long as you're working, mate, I suppose that's the best thing. Same thing over here. I was lucky enough to work all the way through and everything else.
I wasn't.
No, you weren't. I suppose that's the biggest thing. I was able to get out. Granted, it was literally out of the house straight to work, but still, it's better than nothing, I suppose.
I was locked up for 6.5 weeks.
Yeah, bugger that. So obviously, so you started there. I believe you moved down to, or you moved on to, what is it, the Western Sydney Wanderers? Strength and conditioning coach, sports scientist with the youth system and the W League.
Yes. Yeah. So one of my lecturers at ACU was Craig Duncan, and he was head of sports science for Socceroos at the time, and had a consultancy role with the Wanderers, and he brought myself and a mate of mine on board as, I guess, to run the under-21s S&C program, which was, obviously great for us being football supporters. I was a Sydney FC supporter at that time, so it was a little bit difficult, but worked through that. So went through a season with them, which was an incredible experience. I wish I'd kind of gotten that role a little bit, having a little bit more experience under my belt, having known a little bit more than I did at the time. But obviously that's a learning curve that everyone goes through. And then spend a little bit of time with the women's team, but not for too long, because after that I went on board with Sydney FC. So that ended quite quickly with the women's team. But
yeah, obviously. So obviously the main question I've got out of that was what happened to all the gear you were given? Who got that?
Unfortunately, some of it still exists back home at my parents' place in Australia, because my sister has taken a liking to some of it, which hurts a little bit. But yeah, I actually gave most of it away, I believe. A couple of Wanderers mates I've got, some of it just got thrown out.
Yeah. Surprised none of it got burnt.
Yeah, slow death. Yeah.
That was a great experience. There you go.
Yeah. No, Lucas... but everyone at the club was obviously fantastic to me, and a lot of them did know that fact as well. So it was still a great experience. Yeah,
100%. Obviously, well, it's like we're lucky enough to obviously be able to talk to bloody Labano Huliti every now and then and so forth. We've had him on the show and everything else.
Very nice.
So it's the same thing, you know what I mean? Obviously, Newcastle, born and through, loves the Jets and everything else, but at the same time, can't say much wrong about the back staff and everything else. They're all
exactly right.
And let's be honest,
you're gonna go with the workies.
100%. But at the same time, let's be honest, it's as painful as it is to say it as a Jets fan, their youth system, their training facilities and everything else now is just it's definitely good. It's got to be pretty much one of the best in the comp.
The new setup's very nice.
Yeah, 100%. So, Lucas, welcome, mate. Lucas C, Craig Duncan, great bloke. There you go. Thanks for jumping in, Lucas. So, obviously, you moved from there. I believe there was a little bit of a stint at the GWS Fury netball.
Yeah. So that was just as kind of like a kind of few days a week thing. I don't know. I think it's like a state league type competition. But yeah, again, that was a different experience. Working with women for first, and then second, obviously in a completely different sport. So again, required us to stretch our thinking a little bit, and again, another great experience.
Another great experience, absolutely. So we'll obviously, again, guys, we'll wrap through a few of these, obviously, really quickly, just to sort of give you an idea of where he's been and obviously how far he has come to obviously get to where he currently is. Obviously, you moved from there. You were lucky enough to get a gig at, obviously, the club you support, Sydney FC, as a postgrad student, I believe.
Yep.
So obviously, definitely an honour, I'm sure.
That was
pretty
probably
happy.
The better experiences I got. Yeah, that was so that was with when Andrew Clark was there. Obviously, that was the 16-17 season. So that was the very very little role that I had to play was still incredible to kind of sit back and watch that environment. It was very very good.
Yeah, so it's actually quite interesting when you sort of look at it there. So, Master's project investigating the reliability of the club's GPS/HR technology, specifically comparing the data collected from Polar Team Pro chest strap versus base layer integrated HR shirt. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So that was just to do with my master's degree. Yeah. So I was there as a postgrad student. So I had to complete an internship unit, which I completed there, obviously, and then also a project, and that was something that the club wanted me to look at just as a bit of internal research. That was something that Clarkey wanted me to have a look at. That's all that was. It was just some very detailed bit of research to carry out on the monitoring technology the club was using at the time.
Yep.
So
what obviously as a player, what does that entail? How does that help the players? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So it's probably, in terms of its actual application, probably more interesting or specific to the backroom staff. So it was comparing. So Polar at the time had two different ways of wearing the GPS tracker, but the GPS tracker was a heart rate monitor and a GPS monitor in the same device, and so they were currently wearing it as a chest strap. But then the company brought out what's described as a base layer shirt, so it was like a tight vest that they could put traditionally where most GPS sit at the back of in between the shoulders. That took heart rate via kind of an electronic strip that ran down the front. And so I was just really okay, where do we get the most accurate information? Is it around the chest or is it at the back? And that's in its most simplest form. That's what it was, because that's what they wanted to know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we'll fly through a couple of here. Obviously, you went. So let's get this right, guys, in the chat. Obviously, you've gone from, slalom, canoeing, kayaking, whatever it was. Can't remember off the top of my head. Obviously,
It's got a paddle.
Completely different. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've gone from there. You've done obviously the Western Sydney. You've done a little bit of in the netball side of things. You've gone back to a bit of football. You then moved to NRL. With the St George Dragons. And then
that was a little stopover. Yeah,
little stopover. Then obviously the Australian sports scientist for the Football Federation Australia. Spent a couple of years there. Assistant head of sports science. Yep. NPL player pathway camp. So obviously you got a little bit there. Was that in the Young Socceroos and the Jellies under 17s?
That was kind of just I guess what you call a casual thing. So whenever they needed help with any type of camps, I just kind of jumped in and helped over a period of a couple of years. So nothing massively regular about it, but just jumped in whenever they needed a hand.
There you go. Obviously a bit of time in New South Wales Rugby League as well. Bloody beautiful. Strength and conditioning coach for the King's School, and injury prevention specialist, strength and conditioning for New South Wales Ambulance. That would have been interesting. It was
very interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
I could imagine. Yeah,
I learned an awful lot from that job.
Yeah,
despite it being non-sport, it was incredibly insightful.
Yeah, and then obviously you've done a bit with Western Tigers as well. The Tigers over there in the NRL as well. So you've been around, mate. You've been around. You've got plenty of obviously experience under your belt. I'm sure you've got an unbelievable amount of knowledge in the field, which you wanted to go down, obviously. And then from there, it pretty much the move to England came about. So obviously, how did that happen? What made you? Do you just want to go on holiday? Did you think, bugger it, let's do it? Or did you have something lined up to get over there?
Didn't have anything lined up. It was but personally and professionally, it was something that I'd kind of wanted to do for a while. With jobs being somewhat unavailable to most people in my profession, just simply because of a supply and demand thing. I think you've got to be prepared to move, and being a football fan and being aware of the robustness of the football systems that they had in place in England, that it was something that I just had always wanted to do. And then personally, my girlfriend wanted to move to England to get a chance to travel a little bit and work, and so it all just kind of lined up for us. We kind of, what was it, May, June 2019, we kind of said, you know what, we don't pull the pin. We're gonna have too much set up here to be able to do anything like that. So started planning for that. I started putting in all the groundwork that was required for me to even have a shot at getting a job over there. And then it was September 30. We took off for a little holiday, and November 8th settled in the UK.
There you go. Dan's put in here, is the job the same but different each time you switch sports? By that I mean same principles, but maybe just different rehab, maybe, for example.
Yeah. So the principles of our job will never change. There's obviously, you'll find in just about most jobs and professions. Obviously, the end goal is going to be different depending on sometimes the sports. Obviously, if you look at rugby league versus football, in rugby league, you've got to prepare players for heavy contact, as a gross example, in terms of the need for strength and power development. A little more obvious. Obviously, if you're running into a tackle, you need to have strong leg drive. Whereas in football, it's a little bit more hidden and disguised, and you need to decipher it a little bit more. The principle's going to stay the same. Obviously, just the individual player you're working with in that sport, the culture is going to be a little bit different, and the end goal where you want to end up will vary a little bit.
Yeah. So obviously, I believe you're living in Birmingham at the moment.
Yes, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. How's life over there, mate? We were talking about lockdown the other day, actually, when I spoke to you. Obviously, it was a little bit different compared to, say, obviously Manchester and so forth. So, did you guys were able to get out a little bit more? Yeah.
Yeah. It was hasn't been too bad the last little bit. We're in quite a nice area in Harborne, and just close to the high street up the road. So loads of pubs up there. Yeah. So we've been up there a fair few times. You just got to wear like a mask and stuff around.
What was that, Ben?
No, I have to drive past it when I come in from work. But
that's all right. As long as you have to drive past it, that's fine.
A little bit further down, mate.
That's good. That's fair enough. But yeah, obviously you would talk about Derby. Dan's in here. Obviously, Derby tragic. Born and bred there himself. He did give me a question to ask you. The main question I have for Nathan here is, being around the club right now, what is the story behind this takeover? And if it does happen, does that mean a pay rise for yourself?
Even if I did know the answer to that question, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I've got absolutely no idea.
Thank you, Newey Jets News Fanage. That has been on my mind since I saw the photo.
Look, obviously I can't comment about anything going on like that. But I think most clubs are in financial difficulty at the moment. Yeah. Given the fans aren't allowed back in, so who knows what's going to happen with that?
It'd be crazy. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I can only imagine the amount of clubs that are wanting to ownerships that are probably wanting to get out if they can.
Yeah. A little bit above my pay grade, all that as well.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine Pride Park being so quiet for a game. I couldn't imagine it.
Yeah, atmosphere makes a big difference.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. You guys, Jets News Fanage, did put a question in there. Ben, you want to answer that one as I believe you thought it as well?
Yeah. Did Joe Ledley inspire your beard?
Mate, I'm actually not sure who inspired my beard. I think lockdown inspired my beard. But I'll happily say that. Joe Ledley's inspired. But it's pretty close, isn't it? It's not too far away.
Yeah. He'd be pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
He'd be pretty happy with it. Oh man! So obviously your time at Derby. Let's obviously talk a little bit. This is again the main reason why I want to try and get you on here is to talk about obviously injuries and so forth like that. How have you found obviously working at say a team like Derby in the Championship compared to say your Western Sydney Wanderers and Sydney FC in the A-League? What's some of the biggest differences?
Honestly, I think it's just the facilities and the resources that we have available to us. There's, obviously the staff are incredibly well educated and well experienced in both English football and in Australian football. The principles are very much the same. The goals are very much the same. I think the biggest difference I've seen is just the thoroughness of the academy systems that we have here. It's unlike anything I've seen. It's definitely miles ahead of Australia. It's an area I think Australia needs to improve a lot in. And then it's in terms of resources. I mean, the monitoring technology that we have. In terms of like Australia's got all the basic stuff that you would use across NRL and AFL and all that. But yeah, I think just the funding aspect I think is something English football is quite well known for. Yeah. So yeah, that'd be probably the biggest two differences.
Yep. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. A few people are putting in here already. We may as well get that out of the way. Wayne Rooney, what's he like? How is he off the pitch? I've heard he's actually not a bad bloke off the pitch. How is he to work with and so forth?
Wayne's been awesome to have around the club. He's, as professional as his record would suggest. Yeah. I know even from a staff perspective, he's been great to have around. Obviously, someone with that level of experience and someone who's played with that calibre. And I know for the young boys we've got at the club, obviously Derby County is very big on their academy pathways. Mm-hmm. We give a lot of minutes to a lot of academy products, and we've got a lot of those boys around the first team at the moment. So having someone like Wayne there is absolutely invaluable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Something I've wanted to ask, obviously, I suppose you'd know, I'm guessing a little bit about it. Christian Bielik, I believe that's how you spell his last name. He's been obviously injured for a bit. A gun play when he can get on the pitch. I believe he's not too far away. So forth. How's that been? Have you dealt with him a lot? Obviously in this situation with his injury.
Yeah, I did a bit of work with Chris early doors. When was he? So he injured himself back in January.
Yeah, it was the start of the year. So
I did a lot of work with him early on with regards to, like, I guess everything else but his injured leg, if that makes sense. And then obviously lockdown happened not too long after, and then obviously he cracked on with a lot of his work, which he's been incredible at. He's been a remarkable professional throughout that process. And then little bits and pieces with him when we came back.
Yep. So he shouldn't be too far away, I believe. I think he's pretty well.
No, he was in the squad yesterday. Yeah. So he should be hopefully back to obviously his best.
I suppose a question coming off the back of that would be, had we had not gone into lockdown, would the regime that he had been put on, would he be likely to come back from an injury like that quicker without COVID? I know doing it at home yourself would be a little bit more difficult. What would be the difference between that?
Probably not, to be honest. With the work that he was getting, he got a lot of specific attention from the staff, who are absolutely incredible. He got equipment to take home with him, and in terms of the stage that he was at, he didn't necessarily need anything overwhelmingly specific at that time, if that makes sense. So no, in any ACL, you're looking at in a full-time professional environment, you're looking at minimum 9 months. And he's, what is he, bit over 10 months now. So it wouldn't have affected the time frames.
Yeah. Dan brings in a good one as well. Obviously, another, again, love me Liverpool as well. Obviously, Jordan Ibe. How far is he away? He should be close, hopefully.
Yeah, George is getting he's getting fitter every week. That's been the main goal. He's not played a lot of football, as is kind of well known, with obviously lockdown not helping. So just 1 week at a time, putting in the work, almost like it's like a little pre-season. So he's getting fitter every week.
Yeah, it's good to see. Hopefully we see him on the park sooner rather than later. He's a weapon to have. He's a good weapon to have. Dan's got another one there.
Good, strong, pacey winger he is. He goes, Bielik's injury looked horrible. Glad he's nearly back to first team action. Can I assume Jordan Ibe is a firefighter? He's already done that.
One before that.
Oh, yeah. It seems to be well documented that we have one of the best off-the-field structures. Having been to Moore Farm myself, but never inside, are our facilities really up there in regards to the rest of the football in the country?
Yes. Yeah. So in terms of, if you compare it to, I mean, I haven't seen every single club in the championship in terms of their facilities, but what I'm aware of, from what I've seen, Derby's facility is definitely up there in terms of the off-field provisions. We've got obviously our gym is state of the art. It's probably up there with some of the Premier League gyms. We've got recovery rooms like with pool lanes and things like that. And obviously we've got God knows how many pitches we've got, 15 plus pitches or something. So I would agree. I think the facilities at Moore Farm are really, really quality, and you can tell they've invested time and energy into that. The players have a very good opportunity coming into that environment.
Yeah. Obviously, so you obviously work with all three grades, I believe. Obviously, from the first 23s and obviously the youth.
Yep.
So, what's a day to day? What's a day like for you? What happens when you get there? What's your movement?
So, Meetings generally is the first thing. So we've got meetings that start at 8:15 in the morning. So we've got an academy sports science medical meeting. So that's where myself and our physio team, our doctor, our sports scientists will all kind of sit in a room and run through a playlist. Who's training today, who's not training today, who's got what, just preparing ourselves for the day ahead. And then after that, we'll have our first team version of that. And then generally there's a little bit of opportunity for players as they kind of start to arrive and have breakfast. Then we have pre-activation sessions for all three teams, which is just like a little 15-minute session. And the theme will depend on when they've played or when they're about to play. So, if it's a day after or 2 days after, it's a bit more mobility recovery focused, not overly strenuous. And then if it's kind of in the middle of the week, we've got a bit of time to a game, we try and push them a little bit more, develop a few capacities. And then so that's their 15-minute sessions that all three teams will do before they go out to train. So then while they're out on the pitch training, I'm generally indoors with any rehabbers. So from 18s, 23s to first team, depending on who we've got injured at the time, working with them. And then depending on the match day, obviously with the absolutely rammed schedule we have for the first team at the moment, scheduled gym sessions are few and far between. But, if we back off into, let's say, a pre-season, then we'll have a group gym session in the afternoon. 23s and 18s will still have regular dedicated gym sessions in the afternoon, with their schedule just kind of at one game a week at the moment. And then a bit of admin in the afternoon, and then hour drive home back to Birmingham.
Oh, you're beautiful. Yeah, it's pretty.
Talk about it now.
Has it happened? Yeah.
Yep, my alarm went off.
Fair enough. Luke, we answered that. About Wayne Rooney, obviously, again, a legend.
Yeah, we already did.
And honestly, it'd be great to see him, obviously, in a coaching aspect there. Obviously, when he does finish up, which is what he signed on for, whether it happens or not. We'll see what happens, considering, I'm sure plenty of people will be after him. But hopefully he stays.
I wouldn't have said no.
Hey?
I wouldn't have said no.
You wouldn't have said no, yeah, I bet.
No.
Obviously, Dan's got a few more in here. So, despite recent results, are the players' moods good? And does the bad run of form, although a draw versus Bournemouth was good, have a negative effect on the youngsters like Sibley, Bird, Knight, etc.?
Oh, no, not at all. I think the whole club was disappointed with the start of the season. I mean, I don't think there's any shying away from that, but I think it's very obvious that we're playing much better recently. I'm not obviously a football coach by any stretch of the imagination, but from what I can see, at least we're playing better. We're getting a few points, and the vibe is good. I mean, the championship has got 46 games in it. If we thought that the season was over in the first 10 games, then it would be panic stations. But it's far from over. We know that, players know that. Things are good. We're playing better, and we know that work keeps getting put in. We know the results will come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
it's a massive league, even in comparison to the English Premier League. It's absolutely massive. Yeah. The sheer amount of fixtures when you add both the cups into that as well.
Yeah,
it's well over.
It's very intense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Dan has another one. Dan's got another one there. Ben, you want to whip that one?
And does your job include the mental side of players too? We all know lockdown has been an ask for everyone, and footballers are not exempt from that.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, obviously, it's not listed in my position description by any means, but I think that every staff member that works face to face with players has a role to play there. I think especially on the rehab side, not as much. I guess obviously lockdown was tough on everyone, but we have dedicated staff to deal with that. We have health and wellbeing staff. We have a psychologist on board, obviously. But in terms of my role in mainly a rehab setting, obviously we do have a lot of conversations with players. That's just something our profession has in general. So we need to have good interpersonal skills from that perspective. We need to be able to listen and understand, and we're not there to provide mental counselling by any stretch of the imagination. But I think the biggest thing that we can do is just listen to what they're saying, and if it's appropriate, provide a little bit of advice from any experience that we've had ourselves. But beyond that, I think we're really just there to listen, and there to let them express themselves, and any type of support we feel is appropriate at that time. But particularly in the rehab space, I think it's important, particularly with those long-term injuries. Obviously, it's quite a tough thing for any player to have to go through. So, we need to show that we understand what they're going through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Question I've got, obviously, is in regards to, the COVID itself. Now, you're saying that you obviously travel an hour pretty well every day to go to work. I'm sure players are somewhat in the same boat, whether it's maybe not exactly an hour, but I'm sure they don't all live 5 minutes away. So over here in Australia, with our competitions, we had a bubble. So virtually they would be locked away as a team, and that included everybody from strappers to doctors, whatever, to virtually see out the season and get everything done. So there was less chance of any risks of COVID and stuff like that.
Multiple clubs, in some cases, in the same hotel.
Correct. Obviously, again, the travel is crazy. These guys have to travel X amount of kilometres and so forth just to play a game and everything else. Do you think, obviously, in your field, it may have been a good idea to keep everyone sort of together? Obviously, Wayne Rooney got struck down with it, had to spend time off. He very much voiced his opinion of how frustrated he was. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think that may have been a good idea, or happy just
in terms of, do you think that was a good idea for Australia to do, or that's
no, you guys, obviously, because you guys don't do it. Obviously, you guys don't do that, I believe. I think it's just pretty much straight up.
Yeah. I think the
may have helped.
If we're looking at the first initial period, I believe that the difference was that, let's say the NRL, for an example, they weren't being tested. So therefore their symptoms were simply being monitored. And that's why they kept them in a bubble. The difference with football was they were getting tested twice a week. And so there was, much less concern over them, I guess, moving around too much, if that makes sense. Because we'd be able to pick it up very quickly. So obviously, we've had rules and restrictions in place across, the academy and across the first team. But yeah, because of how regularly the first team were being tested, that is probably the biggest difference to what was happening in football and NRL and the AFL.
Yeah, right. Twice a week.
I suppose you couldn't really do that over there in England, because you've got there's 22 teams, 24 teams in the championship. You can't put them in a hub somewhere. There wouldn't be enough stadiums to cater for it.
Oh no. I mean, that's kind of what the NBA did too, isn't it? They just stuck them all in Disneyland or something. They went, or I don't know.
They're in Disneyland. I wasn't so much putting them all together, but just even in their own home towns, even just away from everything else. So they all didn't have to travel X amount of training. They all got picked up on a bus or something like that. Again, I'm just more thinking of, we've seen so many people get struck down with it, players and so forth, and everything else. I'm like,
Flathans had it twice.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think the cases in Europe it's more just how compressed everyone is in the space that we have in the country, and obviously the growth of the virus itself, more so than any kind of footballing policy that's in place. I think there's kind of, whatever you put in place, I feel like the way that COVID's going in Europe, it's almost inevitable that, you'll get players that come down with it. I mean, you're seeing that in rugby league or rugby in the UK as well. You're seeing a lot of players come down with it. So,
it all boils down to what I said originally, Josh, when COVID hit. Places like Europe, England in particular, and Spain and Italy, that it all comes down to population density in the cities.
True.
You've got, a very large amount of people in a space as small as Victoria, for instance.
Yep.
You've got 3 to 4 times, 5 times the amount of people in that space than what you do in Victoria normally. with nowhere to go, then you can't social distance correctly, especially in places like shopping centres and things like that. Everybody's got to go and do their groceries, even footballers. Like, it's inevitable that it was going to happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Aiden's asked, obviously, how was the winter? How did you prepare? How was it when you first? How was your first winter experience?
It's a different sort of cold.
Bloody freezing. Oh, honestly, it's just when people ask me how England is, I say wet, cold, and windy because that's literally what it is in winter.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't mind the cold. Like I don't mind 13, 14 degrees in Sydney. But yeah, it is definitely a different kind of cold. When you're getting to your car to drive to work in the morning and your bloody windscreen's frozen over and you're spending 10 minutes trying to defrost it. Yeah, very cold.
Very, very cold.
And we're coming up to winter again too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I was going to say
when I went, I mean, it's been a long time since I went back to the UK. I went at the end of 2006, right in the middle of their winter, and I found that it not only is it a completely different sort of cold, but at 3-4 degrees over there, I was walking around in a short sleeve shirt. I couldn't do that here in Melbourne. I'd be freezing my tits off.
Yeah. I can't imagine it being any better now, though. Dan's just put that in the chat. Obviously, not just winter, summer as well.
Summer is wet and cold and windy. Yes,
Yeah.
it's not wrong.
I was going to say.
It's more just bipolar than anything. I remember, so when we're in lockdown, be sitting by the window and, it's a bit of sun today, you know what? And then you look, you concentrate on something else for a couple of hours and you look, it's raining, cool. It's just very back and forth.
It's very Melbourne.
Yeah.
4 seasons in one day.
Pack everything. Obviously, we're talking about owners and so forth before. Have you had a chance? Have you met Melvin Morris?
No, I haven't. No. We've got a very robust, backroom structure at the club, so there's absolutely no need for me to have that conversation. I've got a very, very good boss in Luke Jenkinson, and anything from our department that needs to be taken to the appropriate channels is dealt through him. So,
yeah, absolutely. I was more thinking he was passing by. Obviously, he's born and bred in Derby. For everyone out there who doesn't know,
see him around the training ground and stuff, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's definitely around the club and everything else. Again, which is another good aspect, obviously, to see. Not whether you talk to him and so forth, but just the fact that he's actually there and you physically see him around, which is great. Ben and I would love that for hopefully the next owners of the Jets. That'd be fantastic.
I said it about Birmingham before. We still don't know who runs the company that owns Birmingham City Football Club, and they've been owners for 4 years.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. For everyone in the chat who doesn't know Melvin Morris, he is the famous for the organisation.
Mr. Candy Crush.
King. That's it. King.
Mr. Candy Crush.
Mr. Candy Crush. Absolutely. Dan's put in there, that's why we Brits mainly talk about the weather.
Yep, not wrong.
Fair enough.
Luke, I hope so, as much as Josh would shoot me for saying that.
What's that?
Hopefully that Hayley Razzo's Everton beats City in the Women's FA Cup tonight. I'm going to sit up and watch it.
Yeah, hopefully. It'd be good to see an Aussie take out another title. It's good. It's what we want to see in football. Obviously, we're talking about stuff like that. Whereabouts do you see yourself, mate? Where do you want to get to? Obviously, you're enjoying your time, obviously, at Derby, for X amount of however long that may continue. But do you have somewhere where you want to be? Is there somewhere that you want to get to? Or are you just happy just coasting the way you are?
Look, I mean, I think I'd be lying if I didn't say I have some sort of a career plan mapped out. I think that's important, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that I don't have a great appreciation and understanding of how important where I am is to my career. And obviously, I'm just happy to have had this opportunity. It wasn't something that I really expected. I planned for it, but there was every chance that it wasn't going to come through. So I'm just incredibly grateful to be in the position I'm in. I'm learning an awful lot. I said the caliber of the people that work at the football club is incredible. So I'm learning every day. So yeah, obviously I have long-term career aspirations, but in terms of the short term,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. Freaking 20-year plan. You know where you want to get to, but however long it takes, well, that's exactly it. Whatever you enjoy, just enjoy what you're doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got myself a question as well, and as being an Australian, our exposure to football as the world game, especially to England in the early, say, 90s, was a very limited exposure. What team in English football did you grow up supporting?
Manchester United was my club of choice growing up. That was for family reasons. So my grandpa supported Manchester United quite heavily. So yeah, that was the team that I grew up supporting. My dad kind of rocked the boat and supported Liverpool. So yeah, it was always interesting. But yeah, so then as my career developed, I became more of a part-time supporter. But and I tried to jump on board more in the A-League as opposed to English football. I believe that's from a football supporter perspective. I think it's important to support your local clubs to help try and grow the game.
I suppose it's the same sort of question I get asked as well. It's like, who is that team that you support? I've never seen them before. I'm like, no, that's because we haven't been in the EPL for a long time now. But it's, well, why did you choose to support them? And I'm like, I didn't choose. It was chosen for me by blood.
That's it. You do what you got to do.
There's a loyalty there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a family loyalty. I mean, Dad is born and bred Brummie. Grew up in Small Heath.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Ben, you want to answer Dan's question there?
Didn't have any other choice.
No,
exactly. And all the ex-wives support the Villa. Okay. So Dan comes in with, if we became the next Manchester City and became a top 6 team in the Premiership, would you maybe find your path change slightly? Let's be honest, it's crucial to enjoy your job, but we all know that money talks. I think you've had too many points, Dan.
I think it's a 9 a.m. Sunday special. I think that's just his nose very close to the Derby heart.
Question that one.
Mate, you got to go where the money is, absolutely. But I don't see that happening to Derby in the next couple of years, Dan. Let's be honest. It'd be nice.
Oh yeah, of course it'd be nice, but
as you said,
how realistic top 6 of the Premier League is right at the moment.
Yeah.
No.
Let's be honest. If you're in the Championship, and obviously we've heard it firsthand from yourself, Nathan, of the facilities are top notch. That's the thing is just to get out of the Championship. Let's be honest.
Yeah, the Championship's such a.
It's just exactly.
It's such a dogfight. Honestly, it's. I mean, I knew a little bit about it before coming here, just as from a football supporter's perspective, and researching the jobs and stuff that were available to me. But I didn't realize, and even in terms of its support, I mean, it's like a top 5 in terms of attendance. Like the last, obviously, full season that fans were allowed to attend, it was like a top 5 supported league, beating a lot of other first divisions.
Absolutely,
like Italy and Germany and stuff. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And to get for a second division competition to get a lot of clubs to get 20,000 people plus to a game. You don't see that in the NRL. No. So it's it's an absolute dogfight of a league.
I feel that just boils down to the English culture around football itself. That you don't generally support a team that that is successful. You support the team that is your home team.
Yeah.
Whereas, we're admittedly we're a bit spoilt for choice. I mean, here in Australia, being in Sydney, you can choose to support either Sydney FC or Western Sydney, and you've got those chances. Whereas in England, it is like we mentioned earlier, it's basically picked for you pre-birth.
based on where you live, yeah.
Yeah, based on where you live and the last 40 to 60 odd years of your family history has come through that.
Yeah, I suppose the other thing as well is that, again, it's I suppose the best thing about English supporters is they are like no other supporters.
They are loyal, and they are hardcore.
Yes.
Exactly. It's no different, as you said, Sydney, Melbourne and stuff like that, How many Melbourne Victory fans and Melbourne City fans, or Heart obviously as well, jumped to Western because they could, because they didn't have to worry about it. They live in Geelong and they don't have to worry about it now, so they go there. But then some people who still live in the West didn't. I'm sure there's plenty of them. It's like, nah, bugger that. I've been supporting Melbourne Victory my whole life. I'm not going to because I can. But in England, it's just 100%. You could build a team next door, and it's like, not happening. Good luck finding fans. It's like, no one's going to do it. They know what side of the bridge or whatever it is from Liverpool to Everton to Birmingham and Villa. They know where they were born, and I know a bloke I used to work with or whatever it was who was a Villa fan. And obviously, his family really didn't give a shit, but it was because he was born in the specific hospital, like on that sort of side or whatever it was. He was saying that was it. You know what I mean? Like, did he care? Did he have any other reason behind it? And did he really support them? No. But are we going to go into a pub otherwise? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, and saying that, Dan disagrees with me for the pre-picked teams. It comes down to a lot of other factors aside from just blood. There are multiple other factors. I was just using that one as an example because it is a quite big sample size.
Yeah. Look, there's I think it was this stuff Specsavers and 857. What the hell? Oh, okay. I was looking at the wrong thing there. That's bizarre.
I'll ask one more question though, just for giggles. We all hate Leeds, don't we?
Oh.
I've heard that is a big rivalry. I kind of came into the middle of that, didn't I? And then I watched. I got told I'll go and watch last year's playoff semi-final.
Oh yeah.
When I watched it was an incredible game, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Incredible.
I find more enjoyment out of championship games than what I do in EPL games.
Yeah. Oh,
just not when we're playing.
But again, though, freaking watching Birmingham Villa is intense. It's like
huge.
You've heard it from players and stuff like that. Even like getting onto the pitch and then you just don't know where to look. Like what I mean. Like it's just you can't hear yourself think. You're trying to scream to players and shit like that, and they can't hear each other, and it's just chaotic, which is great to see.
Yeah, it's intense.
It is. It's
great. Blues Villa rivalry is up there in some of the country's most heated. And it's not even an EPL rivalry.
Yeah, exactly right.
Location.
Exactly, location. I could have been a Mariners fan, but I had enough sense to be Jets. Luce just put in there. Did you play football as a kid?
I did, yeah. I played for a club called Epping Eastwood Tigers since I was under 13. Pretty much, I played the top level there. I played Premier League for that club, and then actually tore my ACL in 2015, and that kind of and then my career kind of just got in the way of everything. So haven't really played much since then.
There you go. Thought about what's it like over there? Obviously, for everyone who hasn't been to England, and these guys playing concrete, they don't give a shit. They'll play on anything. They don't play. What's it like? Obviously, around traveling on, say, like just the hour drive, watching the youngsters play, and how intense is it from an early age? Watching even from the youngsters, 5, 6.
Into like football in general.
Yeah, it is in general. Like, that's it for people like us over here who just you get your mum and dad just say, oh yeah, cool, you go and play or whatever it is, and shits and giggles or whatever it is. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like over there. My mum was a hard ass.
No, yeah, mate, it's very, very intense. As I said, with the academy systems that are in place here, all the way, like, 18s and 23s, for us, that's full time for them. Like, they're full time professional footballers. We have, and then we go all the way down to under 9s.
Jeez.
Like, and you've got that across. So your category. So we're a Premier League academy. you got 24 clubs, so mostly Premier League teams plus a few Championship teams. And you got Category 2 academies. If you're looking at like at least 40 plus teams across England that have these under 9s all the way through to 23 systems in place.
Yep.
And it's, and then on top of that, like a professional level, you've got the conference tiers and things like that. And the levels of football is just endless. Like
it is a religion.
Yeah. And there's even a few of the backroom staff who've got the club that play kind of Sunday league, and like they look like decent footballers. Like it's kind of like almost like the Sunday league standard is better than I think what our Sunday league might be as well, just from looking at a few of the players. So it's in the blood over here.
I was going to say, Sunday league would be nuts. Blokes who just friggin' have got the skill and got the talent and just can't be arsed. I'd rather have a beer straight after the game and shit. And they've got as much skill as any other bloke playing friggin' professional football, maybe even. They just love the beer or whatever too much. I suppose another good one I like to get in an insight, obviously from past people we've had on as well, is I don't know if you know much about it. The whole I suppose the money system and that with the academies. So for example over here, you know what I mean, it's so expensive. You know what I mean, to put your kid into an academy of say Western Sydney, or not even just an NPL side, your Marconi's and stuff like that. It is crazy dollars, and you may get 15, 16 games if you're lucky for the season, and that's it. Games are done. You finish up. He finishes in October or whatever it is, and then you don't see him until you might do a little bit of pre-season because it's an academy side of thing, but that's it. They don't play football again till March, April.
Pay your money again, and off we go.
And that's it. It's another round bit. That's it. There's no travel. What's it like over there for that? Is it expensive from what you've seen, or if you have any idea?
So I mean, don't quote me. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the club pays the players' way. So the idea being that they get recruited from a young age, with the idea that they're going to be an asset to the club at some point in their career. I think that's the way the academies and the football clubs look at it. Yep. So they try and identify players as early as they can, get them before any other club, and say, right, we're going to train this guy up. We're going to pay for him to train, all that.
Wow.
And then, we're not talking about they're not full time or anything, obviously, but and then the idea is they come through the 18s, 23s, and then if you look at players like Louis Sibley and Max Bird, and they've come all the way through the system, and that's where they make their money. So I definitely think as a football fan and having worked in football, I can definitely see some areas where I would like to see Australia do better. And it is frustrating watching the kind of stalling progress of the league in Australia, and I think that the youth systems have a part to play in that. And obviously I know that at least the two Sydney clubs I was at, there are decent pathway systems there. They've got academy staff, and there's they've got obviously a range of teams, and I'm sure everything's relatively well structured. But again, I might come down just to a funding thing. Obviously, so many sports competing for money from the government. That could be a big thing, but I think it's our job to work around that. So
100%.
I'd like to see the Australian football system change things a little bit. Because I think I think England showed that there seems to be a model that works. So
Yep. No, 100%. And as I said, that was literally going to be sort of our ending discussion. Was obviously what are your thoughts, obviously, on things that may need to change in Australia and stuff like that. And obviously, again, Ben and I have spoken to heaps of current, past players, coaches, stuff like that. A few internationals, obviously Guy Bates. We've had who we have on here? Bloody Carl Robinson, Carl Dodd, Carl Robinson. Yeah, we've had plenty on, and again, it all comes down to what do they think? Obviously, things need to change, and again, a lot of the same answers. The academy systems need to change. They need to bring something back like the AIS, the way it used to be, where you pick the best players from around Australia. They all come, and that's it. You put them into a hub, so to speak, and they travel Australia. They go overseas.
Yeah.
They do these tours. That's the biggest thing. Like,
basically, a new and updated version of the AIS.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
I think from I guess back when I was more of a dedicated Sydney FC supporter. Obviously, It's hard to support them when your time differences are so off. But signings like Del Piero and things like that, and obviously Jets when they had Heskey come in, and signings like that, while they were great at the time, they gave the league a lot of popularity. I think that was at 14, 15, 16. I know like the Sydney Derby just blew up. It was incredible. It was kind of like the big showpiece fixture of Australian sport. As much to State of Origin fans' dismay, but it was. And they were using those marquee players as a way to attract attention and attract supporters, which worked. Like it put bums on seats, but there needs to be a longer term system in place. And look, and I'm not obviously any expert on the area, but that's just kind of the way I see it. I think if they've got those good academy systems in place, and they're giving youth a chance as a culture of producing players from your under 21s team and getting them through, then over time the quality will get better, and and players will want to come to the league as opposed to us having to go out and pay lots of money to get high profile players in the league.
I think it's definitely going to be interesting A-League season. I think we're going to see a lot more clubs using youth for the simple fact that obviously
they've got no choice. They have to.
Well, they've really got no choice. Exactly right. Other than obviously your high-profile teams, obviously Melbourne Victory has recruited very well. In the last couple of weeks, they've picked up a couple of ex-Derby United, Derby County players. Obviously, who was the other one? Swindon Town or something like that. Like Luton Town.
Luton. Falami is at Ipswich.
Yeah, Butterfield was obviously the other one. Derby, former Derby player. So they're obviously still getting these sort of high-profile players, but obviously there are going to be a lot of teams in the competition that aren't going to have that luxury. They may be able to get one or two if they're lucky, but they are
like us, none.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Whatever. It's another day.
Sorry. I'll rephrase that. All clubs like us that are struggling to keep the ones that we currently have.
Yeah, but again, you can't get up them for wanting out. You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, I don't.
We've seen so much crap and so much going on about the Newcastle Jets. Obviously, as Jets fans, it's chaos. We've got an owner who hasn't put a dime into the club for over 12 months. The coach has walked out on us. Again, I get some sort of his reasoning why, but at the same time, it still is. He definitely walked out on us. And all because, obviously, again, we can't give them reassurance. And now players obviously want out. Your Beanies and Stephen Ugarkovic and stuff like that. They want out because, as I said, as Stevie put it straight up, he goes, the simple fact is I don't want to be in a rebuild. He's been there long enough. He's been through enough of it. He's in the prime of his football career, and he's not going to get many more chances, and he's playing great football. So, if he gets picked up from someone, sweet as. But at the same time, I think
Australian football's in an interesting predicament at the moment. Obviously, COVID. They were in a predicament despite COVID. Just because, as I've said, at some point they're going to have to bite the bullet and just find a way to attract the fans that exist in Australia. Like the amount of people that I know who don't support the A-League but will stay up till 2 a.m. to support Arsenal
or something. Yeah,
and I'm like, you got to admire the commitment, admire the passion. I'm like, mate, you've got a club 30 minutes down the road that you could support and get behind, and they'll whinge at the quality.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, by you not supporting means that there's not as much money going into it, which means we can't build the systems we need to actually increase the quality. So it's kind of like, there's a lot of these fans available to, the governing bodies to try and attract.
Yep.
And it's just about finding the best ways to get them there regularly. And obviously that is through the playing quality. And I guess that's where the temptation for marquee players comes about. But again, whether long term that's the right solution, I'm not sure.
That's the
and to be brutally honest, I was one of those people for a very long time.
I mean, I mean, the EPL is obviously the best league in the world, so it's you can't blame anyone for wanting to watch and support the English Premier League.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible football to watch. But yeah, it's more. Are you a fan of your club, or are you a fan of football? Yeah, so that was the thing. I was always a fan of football.
Correct.
And so I want to see, and that's big reason I wanted to come on this podcast for example, is because I want to see football do better in Australia. I want to see it grow. It's the most heavily participated sport in Australia. Yet funding wise, doesn't get as much as I believe it should. In like you compare it to NRL. I mean, I think the potential in football is so much greater.
Correct.
So yeah, just from a football fan perspective, want to see it grow.
100%, and that's pretty much what we're all about. As I said, we are and it's the biggest thing. We're not journos, we're nothing like that. We're just two blokes who love football, watch anything. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, I've just bought a slut scarf and shirt at the time when.
Oh wow!
Literally at the time where we had no football and there was nothing to do, and the only football we could watch was
it was a Belarusian.
The Belarusian league, mate. Absolutely. All over YouTube.
Oh yeah, I got on and watched a few games.
You know what I mean? But that's it. Like, it's football. I can't go without watching football, and I needed a fix, and I jumped on the bandwagon like a lot of Aussies did, and here we are. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. And as I said, we just love the game and love to talk about obviously football from all parts of it. You know, Ben and I are heavily involved. Like, want to try and get heavily involved with the women's game because we think it's atrocious.
Absolutely.
Over here, not anywhere else, but over here it is absolutely disgusting. We've had umpteen dozen female professionals come on the show, and just to hear them and just to how disappointed they are.
They need to do better.
You know what I mean? The 4-month contracts.
4-month contracts are a joke.
You know, like
I remember. Yeah, my brief time with the Wanderers women's team, I know that there was very few of them that were full time. I think there might have been one or two from memory, but most of them had to go. We were training at 6 a.m. because everyone had to go to work. So I think that we need to get the women's game to a stage where they can be full time, and I think that's going to require some investment on certain people's behalf.
100%.
Especially with the Women's Premier League now coming in and taking the good crop of players that we do have from, not only from here in the A-League, but also from the American Women's League as well. It's shown that they're putting umpteen's amount of money into it to try and lure them across, and the standard of football is good. Aside from that as well, you've got us who have got the Women's World Cup coming up, so that's where the dollars should be going.
Yeah, fully into the females game, and as you said, you speak to the amount of girls we've had on the show, and that's it. Like, they get up, they go to training, they go to work. The season finishes after 4 months or whatever it is, and then they're travelling from Newcastle to Sydney just to play in the competition there because it's much better. So you finish work, you then got a 2.5, 3 hour commute there and back from Sydney just to train.
Sustainable.
No, exactly right, and it's just...
and I find it difficult to, and this is nothing against the women, but I find it difficult to turn around and say that yes, they are a professional player because their contract doesn't even run for half the year. Like, how can we as a how can Football Federation Australia as a governing body call them professional sports people?
Correct.
When they're not even employed as professionals for 6 months of the year?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I think there's
disgraceful.
Yeah, there's a valid argument in terms of the revenue and what you bring in, but I think it's a little bit short-sighted because you've got to give them an environment that gives them the opportunity to maximize that revenue, if that makes sense. So you put them in an environment that is full-time, and they have the staff available to them, they have the facilities available to them to become full-time, and then give them the best chance to produce the quality on the pitch that will bring in greater revenue. I don't think many teams can be expected to bring in the amount of revenue that people are expecting, given the constraints that they find themselves in.
Yeah. There's a lot of work that needs to happen. Obviously, the FFA.
It's just a sore point for us.
No, there's anyone who is a football person. Should be upset about that. These girls are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to friggin' play the sport they love and everything else, and then after 4 months, they've got to go back and find a job, or they're trying to study plus work, plus train, then play, then travel, just to friggin' do something they want to do. It's just bullshit. It's not right, and hopefully it gets fixed sooner rather than later. But again, as Nathan said, and as we've said on many occasions, it needs to change. The game in Australia definitely needs to move forward. I think Jeff Johnson was saying that the second division looks like it's going to come into effect possibly 2022, thereabouts. But again, I don't see why how they can really bring in a second division unless the top tier of the women's game isn't done first. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that the A League and the W League are the two main competitions that we need to strengthen and make sure that they're right first before we start adding in second tiers and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. It's a subject we can talk about for hours, I suppose. But
it's a very sore point.
But honestly, mate, we thank you very much for jumping on, obviously, to talk a little bit about your time over in England, and may it continue, mate.
May it continue.
Yeah, exactly right. Hopefully at Derby for a bit, and as I said, mate, who knows where you'll end up, mate? Maybe on the Socceroos radar, get travelling the world with the Socceroos. Sure. Let's be honest, couldn't think of a better job, to be fair.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
Yeah, one step at a time. I will
stop over at St Andrews wouldn't go astray either.
Well, it's not too far away, is it?
No, it is not.
5 minutes down the road.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me on, boys. I want to add one thing as well. As part of, obviously, myself coming on here was, me wanting to help support the game back home. Yeah. As part of that, I've also started an online business of sorts, reaching out to mainly Australian footballers that want a little bit of help reaching the next level. Yeah. So I've already taken on board a couple of guys from the NPL that are looking to have some trials whether it's over here or in Europe. So if anyone's interested in something like that, I am taking on a small number of people in an online capacity to help support that process. So, if you just
honestly, mate, if you
send me an email to info@nphumanperformance.com, I'll be able to. If anyone's interested, I'll be able to help. Yeah. That's just
mate.
Obviously time-wise, I'm not obviously massively available, but I do want to help grow the game as much as possible, and that's obviously an area that I feel like I'm good at, and obviously want to help people as much as I can.
No, absolutely, mate. Honestly, mate, if you can get us as much info on it as you possibly can, we'll plug the crap out of it. We'll friggin' send it everywhere we can. As I said, the biggest thing for us is we love supporting local businesses, whether it be here, obviously, Aussies overseas and stuff like that. Just obviously try and better the game, as you said. Any info you can give us, mate, send it to us and so forth, and we'll plug it as much as we possibly can and so forth. Because that's what it's all about. Is obviously guys like yourself getting obviously a great opportunity to travel overseas and especially to England. Let's be honest, and have a look at what it's like at the top level. Where players, as you said, like the NPL players and so forth, want to be. They want everyone's got an ambition, obviously, to play in their own backyard, obviously for the A League and so forth. But you're crazy if every youngster doesn't want to play in England or Europe abroad.
Yeah, exactly right.
So for you to obviously jump on board and possibly give these guys an opportunity and stuff like that, it's great to see, because I could name probably 6 or 7 blokes in the Newcastle NPL that definitely deserve a chance and probably aren't going to get one here in the A League. Let's be honest. Christian Bromora, for me, he's a big one. He's one straight off the list. Started with the Jets, obviously got let go, and just razzing the NPL. You know what I mean? Just chaos.
Yeah, he did have a stopover at Millwall.
Yeah, he did. He was over in Millwall for a bit there. He's probably on your list. No, already. He said he's got plenty of. He said he's looking. He said he's definitely looking. So, but yeah, mate. Honestly, mate, we thank you for your time. Obviously, may it continue. Obviously, as we said with Derby, hopefully things for the Rams will change throughout the season. As you said, plenty of games to go, and who knows? We got close last year, so I'm not going to write us off just yet.
No, absolutely not. Long way to go.
Absolutely, mate. No worries, mate. Will you enjoy your Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, gents.
No worries, mate. You take it easy. We'll speak to you soon.
Take it easy.
Cheers, fellas. Thanks again.
See you, buddy.
See ya.
There you go, guys. Obviously, we'll get all that information 100% off him, and
We'll smack it on the Facebook page and stuff too.
Yeah, we'll smack it on the Facebook page, so be sure to share that around, guys, obviously. But yeah, thanks to everyone for jumping in. Sorry, Dan, if you are floating a bit.
No,
thanks for well, you did say thank God, but if you're sort of floating around, take it easy, mate, if I don't speak to you soon. Enjoy.
We need to catch up for an online drink soon.
Absolutely, we do. We definitely need to.
Glen Network needs to come back for an online drink.
Absolutely, why not? Thanks to everyone, obviously, for jumping in tonight. It is muchly appreciated. It was good, a little bit of insight, obviously, to talk a little bit backroom.
Something a little bit different, and it's good.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll try and probably get him on at some point again. At some point, obviously, talk a little bit more about in depth. Pardon me. In regards to obviously what it actually takes to for rehab and what a player's expected. You know what I mean? Obviously, these guys they get injured and then it's just like, oh well, friggin' here we go, sit down and friggin' do what I have to do sort of thing. But what it actually entails, you know what I mean? I'm sure it's not just a friggin' rock up every day and sit on a massage table and sit in a pool and friggin' all that sort of shit.
As much as it is the strength and conditioning coach's job to provide that sort of pathway to recovery.
Yeah,
that is expected of them as the strength and conditioning coach. But what is expected of the player receiving said treatment? Correct.
Like it's you can't imagine.
It has to be a two-way street.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's we're giving you all this sort of stuff to make your rehab as quick as possible to get you back on the pitch. So you cannot do this. You cannot do that. We need you here. We need you this. La 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 la. Because at the end of the day, guys, you've got to always sort of remember, play or not, these guys get paid either way. So it's, you know what I mean? Oh, well, I'm injured. Oh, well, so be it. If I'm 6 months out, I'm 6 months out. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's where the blokes like Nathan's job is to get these guys on the pitch as quick as possible. So if those said play isn't doing the right thing, or lacking a little bit in his training, his rehab training and so forth, it then makes them look like shit. And go, you know what I mean? And that's it. It's one of those things where it's, why isn't he ready yet? Well, he should be ready. Everything's done for him, and that's what I've studied for to make sure. And we've got rough guidelines of how long it takes for the body and this part of the body to heal and shit like that. He mustn't be doing something at home, or he must be doing something wrong. That's not good enough. You're fired. You know what I mean? It's not the. It's no different to a coach. It's not the. It's always the coach's fault. It's always the staff's fault. Never the player. Never the player. That's the biggest problem. But yeah, on the Jets, do you think we'll play a couple of games at number 2 because of COVID-19 crowd restrictions? Was thinking about it. Probably not. Look,
that's the girls' home. They won't take that away from them.
Yeah. But
it's the girls' home, they won't take it away from them.
Oh, they will if it means freaking getting numbers and nice close environments and shit like that. They will, but
we also
honestly, guys, honestly, the Jets. The Jets is like the last thing on my mind right now. I get it that we talk Jets 99% of the time. Like the amount of people. I've sort of friggin' even limited myself on the groups now and shit like that. I don't really look at them and stuff like that. Aiden and Luke, no, again, I don't. I take everything you guys send me with a bit of a glance and move on. Just because there's just so much going on, guys. Like this, and we said that we'd have answers by now and all this sort of crap. And why haven't we got answers? Look, at the end of the day, it could come to round 1 and we could still not have an owner. But the only thing that I care about is the one thing that Laurie has guaranteed me. And if he guarantees me that and doesn't deliver, well, then I'll be pretty pissed. But if he guarantees me and he goes through with it and it happens, where he guaranteed me that freaking no matter what, we would be playing football on the 27th of December, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. If it takes them, an extra couple of months to find a new owner and coach and everything else, am I going to be happy about it? Well, no, not obviously, because shit. No, we want an owner as quick as possible.
Yeah, but the longer we leave it, the more due diligence will be done, and the right owner will reveal itself.
You would hope. That's the big thing.
They're not going to jump. They're not going to jump.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it better be. Yeah, that's the last thing you want is him to wait, and then you bring someone in, and then it doesn't work out because then it's just like, well, shit. But at the same time, I just want the Jets to play football. As long as the boys run out in round 1, and I don't give a shit if we run out with 11 players. Don't care. Don't care. It is what it is. They're professional athletes. Get used to it. Suck it up. It's 90 minutes. None of these want to come off every week anyway. So friggin' what's the matter? Just don't get injured. But it's just one of those things, guys. Look, just thinking about it. Yeah, no, of course, mate. Of course, but it'd be better than 5,000 in a 33,000 seater stadium. 100%. No, I'm with you. If lockdown persists and we're only allowed 10,000 maximum at a crowd capacity, I would rather be playing at number 2 or local sporting field. 100%. Totally agree with you. But again, will it happen? I don't see it happening for the simple fact that friggin' we are contracted for the stadium. We have bought the stadium. We've leased the stadium.
Yeah, you're on a long-term lease. You can't look at the shit Brisbane's going through at the moment because of the move of Dolphin.
Yeah, we play at number 2. It's no different, right? When we play at Coffs Harbour, right? We played at Coffs Harbour that friggin' when Timmy Cahill or whatever it was.
Yeah,
we had to pay for that stadium for the night, while still paying for the friggin' the Energy Australia Stadium.
Yeah,
McDonald Jones Stadium, Cooper, whatever the fuck you want to call it now.
MJ.
We're still paying for it. It's I'm feeling sick this weekend. I have a cold, so I'm not thinking straight. I almost forgot.
Aiden, I'll let you in on a little secret, my friend. If you can tell me what I'm having for dinner, then you've guessed correctly. Because I haven't had dinner, and I don't have plans for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you suggest, I'm fucking open to. Where has this thing gone? Where has my render gone? Hello?
Give me 1 second.
MP3. Where the hell is it? That's weird, man. What's up?
Yeah, there we go. I see where both sort of fans are coming from. Yeah. Some fans shitpost it. Yeah, look, guys, it's just I don't know. It shits me up the wall. It irritates me at the same time. There's so many people out there who just freaking, yeah. I don't know, guys. I've been there since day one. I have just found out recently, as everyone else has, that they will not be auto-renewing memberships.
Yeah, I already knew that.
Yeah, but which makes life very difficult for me. I don't know about anyone else, but when I have a membership number that I've had since day dot, and it is very low, I said like to keep that number.
Yeah.
And if I don't get to keep that number, I will be pissed. So
I think you still keep your number.
I bloody hope so.
No, it just doesn't automatically renew. You have to actually physically go in and onto the website and renew it. Your details still stay the same.
I would bloody hope so. I'll be pissed if it's
sure
not.
They would, because they're not going to have 2 Josh Ferreiras.
Yeah, but if they sort of just wipe the database.
They won't. No, they won't. They won't wipe the database. Because that database will be linked to all their marketing material too. They won't do that. They won't do that.
Yeah.
They'll never do that.
Yeah.
Some fans shit posting. You're always going to get shit posters. Luke. Always, and that's why I've gone off a lot of those groups. I don't watch it. Don't listen to it because it's all bullshit, and I'm sick of the flailing that the sometimes supporters do.
Yeah.
It really just fucking annoys me.
But yeah, honestly, guys, we thank all you guys for jumping in tonight. It's muchly appreciated. Facebook had a fucking shit itself, so anyway, it's typical.
Yeah, I noticed that. I did check it early on, but
yeah, anyway, whatever. But yeah, look, guys, as I said, we thank Nathan for jumping on. It's good to see, obviously, Aussies friggin' excelling in obviously sports, and obviously the backside of it as well as on the field. Pardon me. And getting chances overseas in some of the biggest leagues in the world. It's great to see. Obviously, before we go tonight, there is a couple of little things that I want to say and obviously get out before obviously it gets too chaotic. And so forth. Obviously, there's not much football in the A-League. There's plenty of signings going on in other teams, etc., etc. The competition starts on the 27th of December. Therefore, obviously, some may, some may not know. Obviously, I'm due to have a baby in the next couple of weeks. We're literally down to about 3 weeks. So, coming down fucking quick. So, as I said, guys, there will be a bit of a period there where I probably won't pump out, obviously, a couple of podcasts. It might be a couple of weeks and so forth. We'll definitely be back before Christmas. I can guarantee you that. Because we've got to do a Christmas one. Fucking find a daggy Christmas shirt or something like that and whack it on.
Don't.
Mate, get Ben to wear the fucking red nose in the antlers. That'd be pretty funny. We'll send out a poll.
I'll put a nice photo up on the green screen for that. Santa Ready Slay or some shit.
What have we got here? One true villain MS.
One true villain MS. Welcome.
How are you? Is this live? Yes, mate. We just finished up with.
Yes.
We are live, mate. Just finished up with Nathan Plaskett. Obviously, if you're into your football, obviously an Australian, obviously sports scientist, currently contracted by Derby County over there in the English Championship. But welcome, mate. Welcome. Where are you from? What brings you here? How did you obviously stumble upon us? I'm sure you would have had to Google the shit out of me very closely, I'm sure, to find me coming live. The amount of viewers that I've got. So, but yeah, welcome, mate. Welcome. Ben can do it, surely. You pretty well last time, no offense, John.
But to be fair, Luke, it'll be good for me to have a break from it too and refresh myself for the upcoming season.
As I said, Ben's got plenty of stuff on obviously with his own channel and so forth as well.
And I've just taken on more!
Absolutely. There could be some new things coming, obviously, in the new year as well. Ben's informed me, obviously, about possible things happening next year. But there will be definitely stuff that I want to try and get into next year. Again, not said, obviously, with Ben. Ben's got plenty of shit on as well. So if he's busy and so forth and stuff like that. But there is a lot more live football stuff that I want to try and get into. Which obviously is going to cost me a little bit of money, but we'll see how we go. Thanks to my sponsors, hopefully, mate.
Was looking for hot girls on Twitch, mate. You're not going to find them here.
Looking for hot girls on Twitch.
You're not going to find them here, and as a good friend of mine,
wow.
Two good friends of mine would say, Twitch is not a dating website.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
You know exactly who I was
on
about then.
Exactly, yeah. As soon as I said it, I'm like, oh, that's classic.
Yeah.
Mate, if good-looking blokes are what you're in for, mate, you found them. Not much hair.
Yeah, I was about to say, balding middle-aged men, you found the right stream.
Absolutely, I think you've misspelt girl. But how's bet on today? Any 4 games to bet on? I was looking for 4 games to bet on. What do you got so far? Have you got anything so far?
Don't ask me. No, don't answer.
Well, I was going to say, for what though? For what? Where are you from? What are we talking? Premier League? We talking Championship? What's going on there? Jeremy Brocky training with New South Wales clubs. Could we? What? Brocky will not play A-League. Brocky's done with the A-League. He'll play local football. But yeah, look, as I said, guys, there's plenty, obviously, that I'm going to try and suss out in the next couple of months before the start of the next season. Obviously, down here in the NPL and everything else. I've currently
check your Facebook when you get a sec.
Yeah, I've currently spoken to a couple of players. A couple of clubs. Fucking hell. What have we got here? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, no, we're good, mate. You'll find them, buddy. You'll find them somewhere.
I was about to say, don't ask me. I don't do that. Not said.
Mate, I'm not the best freaking tipper, mate. That's why I don't even bet in the Melbourne Cup, and that's usually a sure thing.
Yeah.
What have we got?
He's training with A-League club. Yeah, but so doesn't mean we're going to sign him.
The caliber of Jeremy Brocky, obviously, and the amount of teams that he's played for, he could walk into any training side, to be fair.
And would be a very valuable player to any A-League club for this coming A-League season.
100%, exactly right. As we said, with the amount of players that are going to, the amount of youth that's going to happen, and obviously
the amount of youth debuts you're going to get in the upcoming season is going to be astronomical. And you know what? It's good.
Yeah, 100%.
Because any team, this will even the odds.
Yeah.
Any team.
Actually, friggin' Maddie, actually, me and the wife went shopping, done all our Chrissy shopping yesterday. It's fantastic. Got it all out of the road. Bang. Hurt the hip pocket, but she'll be right. But we friggin' did pick up, I can't remember if it was Big W or not, but we picked up family Christmas pajamas. Family set. Fucking on it.
Well, to be fair, me and Sarah do have matching bluey pajamas.
Yeah, there you go. Surely Adelaide average age will be 18. Surely, nah. They got a few older.
They've been working really hard.
They got plenty of youth. They got plenty of youth players. That's for damn sure. But they've got plenty of senior players still there. They'll be right.
You can't really call Cities a youth academy because they just take the best youth from every other A-League team's youth academy.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's exactly it. Want to do my Xmas shopping?
Mate, you're more than welcome to do my Xmas shopping.
What's your budget? What's your budget? I spent
Sky's the limit.
I friggin' flashed out $1,000. Friggin', and that's
only right now, mate. One of my kids is not getting an awful lot.
Let me guess. Would that be someone who picked himself up a nice computer friggin' a couple of months ago
for his birthday?
Yeah.
Because he needs another technological device of his own, which is quite pricey.
Fair enough. What are we looking at for that?
Phone.
Yeah. Fair call.
High school, he needs a phone.
Yeah, fair call. See, freaking Cross, I didn't get a phone till I was in the fucking end of year 8, I reckon.
Yeah, but phones when we were getting our own mobile phones, mate, mobile phones weren't the friggin' everyday thing. Yeah. Couldn't go on the internet on a mobile phone when we first had mobile phones, mate.
100%. 100%. Friggin', could you imagine, we were only talking about it the other day.
My first mobile phone didn't even have fucking steak.
Oh, wow, that's pretty sad. That's pretty bad. Mate, I remember...
I got a 3315 really late in the 3315's life.
Oh, wow, far out. Yeah,
I had an
3310.
I had an Ericsson. Not a Sony Ericsson. I had an Ericsson. It was an Ericsson flip phone. The LCD screen was about this long by about this frigging tall. Used to have to text the old-fashioned way with hit the numbers multiple times, and you could only see like eight or 9 characters across on the screen at any one time.
No,
and it was fucking bright green.
Yeah. I had a 3310.
And then I got a 3315 when I was in like year 9, I think.
Christopher Russell, here he is. How are you, buddy? I seen you pop in early on, but yes, welcome, mate. Welcome.
Back then phones weren't frigging expensive as they are now.
Just think, Matty. Just think. As I said, we were talking about it the other day at work. Friggin', you imagine the poor bastards. Friggin', could you imagine us in lockdown?
Who?
Like, could you imagine us, like our age group, in lockdown? If this was us, friggin' 20 years earlier, 11 years earlier.
Oh, you mean if we were in lockdown like 10 years ago from now?
Yeah, so if this happened when we were 15 or whatever, could you imagine if we were, mate, sitting there? How many games of Snake do you reckon you freaking get through before you threw the phone?
No. It would be a fight to get whoever gets up early that would be able to sit on the Nintendo 64 all day.
Yeah.
That's what it would be. And if I didn't get up early enough, I'd probably use my Game Boy Color.
Oh, the old
until it ran out of batteries.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing, though, because I was never at home. Like, I'd go insane. I would have gone insane, man. No way. I'm never home. Never home. 9 a.m. Like, I'd be itching to get out the door at friggin' like 9 a.m. Mum would be like, you can't leave the fucking house yet. I'm not having X whoever's friggin' bloody fucking mother and father yelling abuse at me for sending my kid around to their joint before fucking 9 a.m.
Yeah. I can understand you from there.
Like, Jesus Christ. That was, FIFA 98. Oh, mate, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've got it here.
Yeah. I'd struggle. I was never home.
I've got it. I can quite literally see the cartridge from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, Matty, 100%. We were literally free. I was never home. I was always at the beach or mates' places.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
FIFA 64 doing a career mode at English Premier League career mode with Wimbledon.
Oh, well.
A fucking crazy game.
That's
the original crazy game.
The old FIFA 98. You can't go past it.
No, it was FIFA 64, that one.
Yeah, like FIFA like 98. Chumbawamba. Freaking, you couldn't hear a kid of cow's backside with a banjo that far. Used to love it.
No, Blur, song 2.
Actually, friggin', I was wearing them actually before, Luke. I was wearing them before, friggin'.
I had my eye test today, so I'll be getting mine soon.
Ben will get his soon. Friggin', that's going to be exciting. Friggin', he'll help his eyes out massively. Lockie's actually.
The chick said that I had good eyes.
There you go. Lockie's actually on holidays, so friggin' he shouldn't be watching this at all. He should be spending time with his family.
Yes, he fucking well should
be. In saying that, though, I did tell him to take the PS4, and he did. So
he did.
Yeah, he's like, no, better not. I might take it, mate. She'll go to bed. You'll be up watching the Premier League or something. Friggin', you'll be
go watch the Prem.
He's like, nah, fair enough. You're probably right.
Even just to watch the Prem, or even just a Chromecast.
Yeah, exactly right. But still,
you just do it from your phone.
Yeah, but yeah, look, as I said, guys, obviously before old mate popped in with these friggin' sports bets, what was I going to say? Bloody yeah. So I will be taking a break at some point. Not 100% sure. It'll be on Facebook and everything else on the page.
Yeah,
when it happens. As I said, those who have been in my situation will understand. Those who don't, trust me, it's stressful times. Friggin', you get told a date. Sometimes, some people get told it. Sometimes, if you're lucky enough, you get told a date that's what's going to happen. And if it works out,
and then you get told to turn around while you're halfway there, and then come back tomorrow. That was Isabel.
Yeah.
Make it halfway to Ballarat, and they go, "Oh, are you on your way?" Yeah, we are. You want to turn around and come back tomorrow? Not necessarily. Do we have to? Yes. 6 a.m. tomorrow. Thanks. Fuck off.
So yeah, pretty chaotic.
And guess what, guys? The Nathan Plaskett podcast has just gone live on Anchor.
There we go, guys. There we go. What that in there?
What do you think I've been doing? I'm not just a pretty face.
What's this? 6-7 days Lana had to endure, laugh out loud, and me, I guess.
Oh, it's a prick of a thing. Having babies, it's all well and good. And look, yeah, sure, what you get out of it at the end is nothing short of beautiful. But, fuck, sitting in a hospital waiting for it to happen.
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, it is so fucking boring. And most hospital Wi-Fis are absolute dog shit.
Yeah. Even if there is a Wi-Fi.
Well, you just do what I did and sit in the chair next to her next to the bed that she's in, and make sure that you have Stan and Netflix already downloaded.
Yep.
Download, Josh. Go download all the Sean Connery James Bond movies.
Yes.
On the offline mode of Stan.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on your device for the next 14 days.
Yep.
And while you're sitting there waiting, watch the entire friggin' trilogy of friggin' Sean Connery James Bond movies. Mate, you fucking ripping set.
Nah, 100%. Obviously, yeah, big obviously disappointments. Obviously, Sean Connery. But again, 90 years of age. Can't really complain. That happy.
And I saw some of the photos that had just recently been released over the past 6 to 8 months, and he was looking real sick.
Yeah, he was looking pretty good. But yeah, no, obviously,
well, as a massive Bond nut, and Josh can attest to that. Actually, huge Bond nut.
Actually, if he's got Facebook, jump on his Facebook page. Go check out Ben with hair. Wow, what a friend!
Oh, me standing in front. That wow. Photo is fucking real old.
Yeah, we can tell. The hair looks fresh.
That was a long fucking time ago.
Lorena.
You know how I know that was really, really a long time ago, Josh? Look at the shoes that I'm wearing.
Yeah, I literally was about to say.
I'm wearing my Jazz Runners.
I was going to comment that.
And I have not worn my Jazz Runners in fucking donkeys.
Bloody hell. The jeans look like the same pair of jeans friggin' you've had for fucking ages.
Yeah, they are. They were.
Yeah,
I've only just retired those jeans.
Far out. That's classic.
That's how long I've had them for.
Bloody hell. But yeah, honestly, freaking good. If you haven't watched a lot of Sean Connery's James Bond, go do it because it's freaking great. It's great.
I'm already one movie down. I've already done Dr. No. I'm on the next. I'm already on From Russia with Love, and I'll be watching that after the podcast. After I've edited the next episode of Blackpool that needs to go live tomorrow morning, and done all that, then I might be able to watch it at some point, maybe at 3 a.m.
The fact that it's a girl, Luke, Laurie's off the table. I did see Chris put in there Lorena. But yeah, no. Name's picked out, name's done and dusted. I'm not changing it.
I even know the name yet.
I'm not even changing it. I'm not doing that shit because
a baby's name is the most closely guarded secret you can have in a pregnancy.
Yeah, pretty well. It
is.
Especially freaking when the bloke the bloke gets told one thing and then it's like, yep, cool, and then it gets changed. And then it gets changed, then it goes back to the original one, and then it gets changed, then it goes back to the original one.
Me, Sarah and I we didn't fight about names. We were actually pretty good.
Oh no, we weren't fighting with names. Like, again, she would just come to me with names and I would just go straight out yes or no. And then
we're the same.
Every yes would be, yep, sounds good, and then she'd come back a week later and go, oh, what about this one? And go, oh, that's not bad as well, yeah, I'm happy with that one. And then she'd go, oh, no, but I really like this one. I'm like, for fuck's sake, just choose one. They're both fine.
Yeah. Fuck. See, me and Sarah very much, it's got to be equal parts. Like, she'll come to me and I'll go, yeah. And generally, if it's a name that has multiple spellings, it's yes, but what spelling? Are we going to use correct English, or are we going to use modern English? Because if it's modern English, you can fuck it off.
Yeah, ours was like that.
Like, the amount of people that spell fucking Isabel's name with an O and not an A, it boils my blood.
Isabel. Yeah, the same with us. Same with us. We had to freaking...
It fucking shits me.
Yeah, we definitely a good mate. Friggin' professional footballer will be definitely happy with my name choice. So I'll leave it at that.
A professional footballer.
Local lad, yeah.
A local professional.
He'll be happy with it. But yeah, so as I said, we'll see how we go. It's just one of those things. Again, honestly, guys, I think she's due. I think it's like the 25th of this month, which I think is like a Wednesday. So we might be able to get one in, obviously, the weekend, or early. But it all depends. Yeah. But as I said,
But in saying that, I know you want to fucking get out of here, but I've got to say this as well. You look at where this channel was 12 months ago to where the channel is now 12 months later. I'm not talking about things like subscriber numbers. I'm talking about the quality of the content that is being provided now.
Absolutely. Friggin' Ben's asking for a pay rise.
No. I'm not asking for fucking anything, mate. I'm merely stating the fact that the channel has come leaps and bounds from what it was 12 months ago. It's been through an entire rebrand, a logo change. It's turned
Sponsors.
Yeah, we've got sponsorship.
Everything.
We're getting high-profile guests on. Like, the podcast has changed from what it was 12 months ago. The entire channel has changed from what it was 12 months ago.
100%.
And let's be brutally honest. In this space, there is such a thing as burnout.
Ooh.
Which is not what you want. If we were to continue this level of content consistently, I think that Josh has deserved to break. I don't know. We've gone from having like one person watch a video that we uploaded to currently 7 people in a live stream across 2 platforms that's now live. With a guest who lives on the other side of the bloody world in the footballing world.
Yeah. Again, it's... Yeah, as I said, it's just not so much that I need a break. Christmas time is always going to happen, right? And the biggest thing is with Christmas time this year we can't do it. Normally we'd be able to be sweet as, but now it's the start of the season. You know what I mean? So Christmas Day, obviously, but like Boxing Day, even the 27th, we may freaking have to pump something out. But at the same time, there will be gaps, deflated gaps over the next month or so. The biggest thing, as Ben stated, obviously things have changed from, as I said, from sponsors, which we can't thank them enough. Obviously, Matty, and obviously everyone else who's here, Luke and so forth, not so much the fans, just the guys that obviously the loyal supporters of the channel that are here every week. We can't thank you guys enough. It's muchly appreciated. Everybody who's jumped on board, and that's just not obviously Lockie and his dad. Again, I'm lucky. I'm again, very good mates with Lockie, to the point where obviously I'm one of his groomsmen in his wedding. So again, I'm lucky there, but at the same time that you take in the likes of the Kafey Cafe, the 3 Bears, friggin' Gentlemen's Outfitters, bloody Chatty's friggin' workwear, the BJ, the workwear and stuff like that. All those sort of guys for jumping on board. Laurie McKenna, the Jets. Everybody who's jumped on, obviously, who has no affiliation with the club. Again, thank you. Western Service crew. Obviously, we're going to catch up with those boys tomorrow night for a drink because we can.
There may be some videos.
Definitely a few things that we want to... Obviously, I want to talk to those guys about. A few, obviously, little options and little things that I wouldn't mind doing next season. Obviously, again, down here, maybe friggin' the away day vlogs and stuff like that might make a little return. Again, just because they're easy to get along with. We'll have full... we'll be able to do a lot with those guys. We'll be able to do a lot with those guys without pissing anyone off and fucking la-da-da. And look at these fuckwits just coming in their Newcastle Jets gear or whatever he's trying to take over and shit. Which we're not about. But again, there's a lot of stuff that I want to...
We're well looked after by WSC.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, there are things that I want to try and get to. Again, my ambition was originally to do a podcast and try and do it once a week and try and just get on. You try and get on and just talk football and so forth, not expecting guests, not expecting friggin' sponsors, not expecting friggin' us hosting an awards night for the Newcastle Jets. Let's be honest, they were flat out, but at the same time, 99% of every other A-League club did it. So there was, you know what I mean?
We were the only club that did.
I am not going to sit here and fucking shit on the club that I love and support and friggin' will never ever friggin' walk away from. But at the same time, how hard is it to friggin' put out
your game, lads?
Put out a few little friggin' congratulations and friggin' shit like that, which they didn't even do that on the page. But anyway, that aside, I didn't expect us to be sitting here doing an awards night, giving out friggin' obviously breakfasts with Laurie McKenna, copies of FIFA 21, friggin' signed shirts, friggin' etc. So
Yeah.
All those sort of things, obviously. But again, next year will be big, hopefully, because my plan is to obviously up it to where, look, and again, I can look at it as where I want to try and get this sort of platform to the likes of Bar TV. Right, I'm not in Newcastle, so I can't have any handle of that. But the biggest thing down here I've found is there is not much like it. Unless you go onto MPL.TV, I think it is down here, or MPL Victoria, you can't watch games. You can't watch the MPL. And then I've also found that they're not coverage. It is a camera and a bloke behind the camera just moving it like this.
Yeah, there's no commentary.
There's no commentary, there's no nothing, and it's probably the best thing I love about bar sports.
Don't forget them coasters.
I'm sending the coasters.
Rocky's on holidays.
Yeah, no, but I'll send the coasters. I'm sending. There's a shitload of them. I've got a heap of them, and I'll send them up. And anyone who wants them, just go in and see Lockie. There they are, right there. There's a few. But yeah, as I said, guys, plenty of interesting stuff to come. Plenty of big things to come. Hopefully, again, little segments and little things like that. Getting in with Nathan to try and get in the door with maybe Darby and maybe get a friggin' ex-player or friggin' a current youth player or something on to have a bit of a chat about what it's like being a professional footballer in England. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm working on one from my end too, but COVID is making it nigh on impossible at the moment. But
Yeah.
when Birmingham go back to having supporters and stuff like that, I have a way in there too. I am working on that. I have already made the outreach and have been told not while COVID's on.
Oh, yeah, again. And that's it. And same with Nathan, you know. Yeah, so speaking of Nathan, just texting him now.
Get that WhatsApp going.
Right, no, he just sent me through, obviously, the links and stuff like that. So we'll make sure we put all that sort of shit out as well for him and everything else, because as I said, anything we can do to try and help and promote it, we will. MPL Victoria stream on YouTube. Yeah, they do.
MPL Victory.
Uh-huh.
It says MPL Victory.
Yeah.
Victoria or MPL Victory, the youth side?
Yeah, if it's anything to do with the A-League, I don't care about it. I don't want to know about it. I'm talking about MPL, even MPL 2. The biggest thing is down here, guys, is we've got MPL 2 and 3, which is still better, a lot better than most of the squads that play in MPL Northern New South Wales. Yeah. Like, trust me. You know, if you sent the Charlestown side down here, or you sent friggin' Valentine, or friggin' Western, or whatever.
Yeah, MPL Victory.
MPL Victory. Yeah, that's, yeah. You know, but again, not even MPL. I'm happy to start small and friggin' go down the friggin' state league shit here. As I said, I'm not expecting to have this massive, you know, in we go and fucking away we go. It's going to cost money. I've looked at setups.
It's a lot of financial investment.
It's a lot of yeah, 100%, and that's it. Like, we're not expecting big bucks out of it or anything like that. It's a lot of stuff that I want to try. Again, definitely I want to get into it, but it's going to take money. It's going to take effort. It's going to take time. It's going to take people, a lot of people, because at the end of the day, I'm one person and can't cover 20 freaking games at the same time, like Bar TV.
And I'm already a very busy person.
Exactly right. So again, it takes a lot of things, and that's why, as I said, it's one of those things where, you know, again, for Ben to come on board, and that's the biggest thing. For Ben to come on board, he would virtually have to wipe his whole friggin' schedule, and I'm not doing that. I mean, that's not me. That's why I'm doing this sort of on my own bat.
I mean, as far as thing goes in relating to that, I mean, I will do what I can going, right, here is the equipment you need, and here is a fucking document of how to set it up correctly so that it works.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I can do to make the experience easier for these guys, even though I can't be there for it.
Yeah.
Like, there will be the odd one I'd be able to get to and do. That's fine. I can, you know, sort of make time for ones here and there, and that's fine. I'm happy to do that.
So, but anyway, that's a next year problem.
But again, that's shit that we've got another ad anyway.
That's shit that I don't have to worry about at this point. But at the end of the day, guys, all I wanted to say was friggin' thanks for jumping on. Again, we're sitting here been rambling on again for at least another hour past the friggin' interview. It's what we do.
Exactly an hour past the interview.
There we go. It's what we do.
The interview's already live.
Yeah, that's it. It's what we do. We just talk football, shit, whatever.
The word Alhueda career mode is banned in this chat.
Oh, fuck me, seriously. Now, honestly, guy, as I said...
I'll have to make a command.
No, it's only friggin' Luke who keeps fucking bringing it up.
In the same way that he's bringing up my Twitch Sing streams, which, ladies and gentlemen, Twitch Sings is going away in nearly 2 months' time.
Yes, that's right. So we need to get Ben onto one friggin' very soon. I'll last her up.
I'll be doing it on my own. I'll be doing it on my own back because it's no longer a channel point reward.
Yeah. But I say everyone, we get one more in before it friggin' finishes up.
I'd like to have an entire party.
That'd be good.
I'd like to have A, an entire party, and B, either a 12 or 24-hour stream of it.
Oh, God.
As a last hurrah. And I swap people in and out of the party.
You'd fucking have to.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be singing it all fucking night.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a voice after about fucking 6 hours.
Yeah, so it's just gone from a fucking 12 to 24-hour back to a 4-hour show.
No. I'd like host it, but in the times where my voice would need a break for like an hour or two, I would roll through people that are already in the party.
Yeah. Pardon me. But yeah. Anyway, we're going to friggin' wrap it up there. We thank everyone for jumping on. It is muchly appreciated. As I said, all you regulars, as always, we thank you guys muchly. Aiden, Luke, Matty, Chris was in here before. Freaking Andy was in here as well. I don't think I've seen Noopy, but again, Noopy does what he does best.
Always on the lurk.
He does what he does best, and he'll be lurking around there somewhere.
I can tell you if Noopy's around. No, he's not lurking.
There you go.
Oh, he might be lurking on the YouTube side.
Fan favourite Muse song. There you go. But yeah, as I said, guys, we're going to friggin' wrap it there. We'll take, we thank everyone for jumping on. Gabrielle Marp, optometrist at Jasmine. If you haven't been down there yet, get down there and get whatever you need from them. Again, there'll be coasters there shortly. Aiden, friggin', have you bought a PS4 or something yet? Because you need to get onto that. Because you've got the game now, so I'm pretty sure you've got the game. If you haven't got the game yet, I have no idea. You'll have to wait another week at least because Lockie's on holidays. But yeah, as I said, guys, friggin' we'll leave it there. Take it easy. We'll speak to you guys. What are we at now? It's a Sunday, sometime next week. Probably around the Thursday mark or something like that. As I said, a few drinks tomorrow night with the Western Service crew, which will be friggin' pretty good just to get out and friggin' have a couple of beers.
The All Out West podcast.
Be sure to get on the All Out West podcast. They've done a end of season breakdown, 2-part special over the last week. So that was There he is. There he is.
Here he is.
Need a hashtag lurk.
No, he's using the lurk command.
Oh, you did too.
That's my stream elements is like, thank you for dropping in and supporting the stream and your viewership. Enjoy the lurk.
You did I didn't see it come up.
Because everybody missed the fact that we were streaming this on Twitch tonight.
Yes. We whacked it on there just to see. We found one interesting person come on, but anyway, it is what it is.
There's been one person on there all night, but I don't count.
Yes, absolutely, and thank you for the follow as well. One True Villain, MS. Muchly appreciated. So he did follow. Anyway, right, we're going to leave it there. Thanks to Ben, obviously, for jumping on. If you haven't checked out his stuff recently, go over and check out Benno's stuff. It is muchly appreciated. You will find the podcast, if you've missed any of it, obviously not all this crap, but the actual podcast with Nathan, obviously on all the audio links, obviously Spotify, Anchor, and etc., which is coming up right about now. There it is. There's Benno's as well, friggin' all the podcasts, Cornerflake Games, it's all there. Go check it all out, go subscribe, go friggin' follow on the Twitch, YouTube for both sides of shit, whatever it is. Enjoy your week ahead, guys. Take it easy. We will speak to you guys shortly. And until next time,
we hate Coast Scum.
We hate Coast Scum. Do you know how good that was to actually hear it and friggin' not have to sort of friggin' mimic and go, I think it's finished now.
Like
I
just did?
Yeah. When you had the stream deck, I'm just like, go now. So anyway, guys, whack it in there. Friggin' Latest gents, we hate Coast Scum. There it is. Thanks, Jeff, mate. Muchly appreciated.
Jeff.
One last time for you guys, because it's been a while since I've had to play it. So there it is.
We hate Coast Scum.
Yeah, we hate Coast Scum, and
He's gone.
just like that, he's gone. Take it easy, guys. See you soon.
See you guys.